Hello and thank you for joining us on Journalist Hangout on Sunday. I am Olajumoke Olatunji. Today on the program, federal government sets to introduce conditional cash transfer to address out-of-school children's syndrome. Finish court to begin trial of Simon Ekpa in May 2025. Stakeholders want to push for Nnamdi Kanu's release. And later on the show, General Gowon reveals that he created more states, said it was to ease fear of northern domination, and narrates how he begged late General Abacha not to kill former presidents, Olusegun Obasanjo. I will be hanging out with Babajide Kolade Otitoju and Adewale Adeoye. Gentlemen, good afternoon to you. Welcome to Journalist Hangout on Sunday.
Good afternoon.
Good evening. Good afternoon.
Journalist Hangout starts now. Thank you very much for staying with us. When it comes to sanitizing its rank and file to fish out rogue officers, the Nigerian police deserve some accolades. In another display of self-cleansing, the police authorities have dismissed an inspector, Edith Uduma, for gross misconduct regarding the alleged rape of a 17-year-old female suspect by one Abraham Uzobo. Uduma's dismissal came after a viral video that she captured in October showing one Sergeant Abraham, another officer in a compromising position with a 17-year-old girl at the police station in South Ibe area of Edo State. In the video, the officer is seen hurriedly wearing his trousers and querying why Uduma was making a video recording while the girl is seen lying on a chair in the room. First spokesman Muyiwa Adejobi, who confirmed this dismissal, said everyone guilty in the case has been sanctioned appropriately as there is no intention to impede justice. Adejobi noted that the errant sergeant has been dismissed and prosecuted and is currently in prison custody as the trial progresses. Mikhail, let me start with you. Does this surprise you?
No. As a tabloid editor many years ago, I published a story very much related to this. Here in Lagos, a policeman was sleeping with the wife of a suspect inside his office.
Wow.
And when his senior tried to get in the way, he beat up that senior officer for stopping him in the act. So all kinds of funny things happen in police stations. There are some times that women will offer their bodies just for the freedom of
their husbands?
Their husbands or loved ones, in captivity. Policemen try to take advantage of vulnerable suspects. We've seen cases when a policeman will go and bring out a suspect from the cell and sleep with that suspect in exchange for freedom. So this did not really surprise me. This thing had been happening, and policemen can say that this is strange.
Oh, this is not.
But what was strange was that this thing happened. The police, person recorded it, took no action by way of getting the authorities to know what transpired so that the officer concerned can be disciplined. Instead, he and her husband seized on the opportunity to extort money,
make more money for themselves,
from the suspect or from the policeman who was involved in that act. What we don't know is whether this was consensual sex or it was indeed rape. But having sex with somebody in custody amounts to taking advantage of that person. So I believe that the best that can be done is for these officers to be thoroughly dealt with, these police officers. They have to be thoroughly dealt with in accordance with the law.
All right, Adeoye, does it surprise you that we still have these kinds of officers in the MPF?
I'm really not surprised. I think it has been a trend when you are talking about the moral decline in the society. And the police are also part of that same society we are talking about. But what makes it worse and embarrassing is that the police are supposed to be the law enforcement agents to arrest people that run foul of the law. But in this case, it is the police that is carrying out a very terrible crime. I think there are certain things that should be interesting to us. That first of all, the audacity of the policeman to carry out this rape right in police premises. The confidence the policeman has to rape a suspect. Didn't take the suspect to a hidden place, but right in the police barracks. And that in the presence of other people, at least as shown by the fact that somebody was able to film the incident, that means that there are people around.
Yeah.
He didn't lock the door.
He didn't lock the door. So for a police person to have that confidence to do that shows that it's not a new thing. It's a common thing. And the embarrassing thing is that the person filming, a police person, not a civilian, was not doing it in order to correct the crime.
Was doing it to extort.
Or to incident the crime, but to extort, to make money from the system. And beyond that, the person doing the film contacted her husband that also happened to be a police person, who is supposed to have said, okay, this thing is wrong, I want to take it up, but collaborated with the same woman to extort money from this. So the plight of that lady did not even come into the picture at all. It's of no signal, it's not no mayor. It shows that some officers can do anything for money. And it shows that the Nigerian police needs fundamental reform. And it's not just the police alone. I remember I reported a story for the Punch newspaper as head of investigation of Shoba rape, where soldiers were piling up women and raping them. It caused national uproar. But nothing happened. They set up investigative panel and all that. So it's so embarrassing that this kind of crime is taking place right in police station, where it could not have been out of the free will of that lady, because she was being raped in an armed environment where people were holding guns armed. So it would have been out of her own free will to accept to be, assaulted sexually. And 17 years old.
The culture of prison sexual violence, is it high time we started paying attention to this?
I think so. Especially we need to sanitize the law enforcement agencies. We need to make sure that this thing does not happen in their corridor, because they are the first line of, first line of action when you are talking about reporting that kind of incident. But when it is now rampant among them, that the police are involved, then it becomes a very serious issue. So I think we should not just look at the individuals. We should take an holistic look about this problem, set up a judicial panel of inquiry, and ensure that this kind of thing does not happen, not just in Edo State, but all over the country, in any police setting.
Finally, before we move on, is the dismissal enough?
Well, I think that the police need to look at the case sufficiently. According to the victim, the police didn't want to act on the matter, that it was that they were trying to sit on the matter and all that. If indeed some policemen were trying to sit on the matter and ensure that justice is not done, those policemen, including the DPO, should be fished out.
Because Officer Edith is saying she's innocent.
Huh?
Officer Edith is insisting, I'm innocent, this is not a true story.
Yes, they also, but she has to prove that indeed she did not extort money from the person. So we certainly don't have the last. If indeed she extorted money, then the officer that she extorted money from needs to provide the evidence that she extorted money from her. Based on that alone, they can press charges and she could be jailed even after her dismissal. But she's saying that she didn't record the act with the intention of extorting money, but that she wanted to put an end to it because it was not the first time that officer would take advantage of women in custody. And there is also the belief that the victim was drugged because the officer came to bring money and bring food for her. So perhaps they put some stuff in the food that the victim ate. But this is not the first time. Rape and sex with women in custody, in police custody, is common in Nigeria. It's common, but an end has to be found to this. An example has to be made of these ones, and it should be publicized enough so that it can serve as a deterrent to others.
All right, gentlemen, let's move on.